Hello, second graders. This is Mrs. Brooks, and I'm going to walk you through a lesson for Monday, April 27th. We are going to go over our I can statement. Today I can read and make connections to myself, the world, and other texts. I'm going to read you a story called Burro's Tortillas. And as we read this story, we need to make sure that we are comprehending by always asking ourselves questions in our head and making those connections. Today we're going to focus on making a connection to ourselves. Here we go. We have Burro's Tortillas by Terry Fields, illustrated by Sherry Rogers. Once upon a time, not so long ago, a little burro saw that the corn had grown very tall, and right away he thought, tortillas! He called his friends, mis amigos, venguan aquí. The bobcat, the coyote, and the jackrabbit came immediately. Amigos, look at all this wonderful corn, said the burro. Who will help me pick the corn so we can make tortillas? Yo no, said the bobcat. I'm too cool a cat to pick corn. Yo no, said the coyote. I'm taking a coyote break. Yo no, said the jackrabbit. I've really got to hop along. Then I will pick the corn myself, the little burro said to himself. And he did. He picked so much white corn that he could hardly carry it home on his back. When he got home, he gathered his friends again. Amigos, he said, I have picked the corn. Who will help me remove the kernels? Yo no, said the bobcat. Scratch me from that job. Yo no, said the coyote. I'm doing trickier things. Yo no, said the jackrabbit. I'm having a bad hair day. Then I will remove the kernels myself, said the burro. And he did. He took corn and removed all the kernels from the cobs. Then he gathered up all the kernels, boiled them with lime, rinsed them off, and set them aside to dry. The little burro looked at his hard work. He had done a lot, but there was still much to do before the corn became tortillas. He called. The corn is ready to be ground into flour. Who wants to use the grinding stone first? Yo no, said the bobcat. I'm too busy growling. Yo no, said the coyote. I'm too busy howling. Yo no, said the jackrabbit. I'm too busy being all ears. The burro sighed, for he really was tired, but he was also stubborn. Fine, then I will grind the corn myself. And he did. He stood over the metate and used the pestle to grind the corn. When he finished, he called, Amigos, the corn is ground. Who will help me make a la mesa? It is not as much work as grinding, and if you want, you can growl or howl or listen while you do it. Yo no, yawned the bobcat. I'm catching a little catnap. Yo no, yawned the coyote. I'm already counting sheep. Yo no, yawned the jackrabbit. Here now, gone to siesta. The very tired burro wanted to take a nap too. But he didn't. He made small little balls of dough. This time, he didn't even call his friends when it was time to put each ball onto a la tortilla to flatten it into a tortilla shape. When he finished, the burro looked down at the results of all his work and smiled. His mouth was watering. Very soon he could eat tortillas muy deliciosas, but first he had to get them onto the griddle before the dough dried out. He called his friends, amigos, your naps are over and we are at the last step. Who will help me cook the tortillas? His friends gathered round. "Yo, no," said the bobcat. "I'm too perfect to cook." "Yo, no," said the coyote. "It's not my territory." "Yo, no," said the jackrabbit. "Even the idea is hair-raising." "Then I will cook them myself," said the little burro. And he did. He put each flat circle on the griddle and turned it over and over until it was fully cooked. Soon he had a big basket filled with fresh tortillas. They looked wonderful and they smelled even better. And when he turned around, the little burro didn't have to call the bobcat, the coyote, or the jackrabbit. They were already standing right there. He looked at all of them. They only looked at the basket of freshly made tortillas. "Who will help me eat all these tortillas?" asked the burro. "Yo," said the bobcat. "I'm primed to pounce." "Yo," said the coyote. "Their scent is super." "Yo," said the jackrabbit. "Here's looking at you. Let's eat." As the little burro reached for the tortillas he shared with his amigos, he paused and he thought, and then he said, "You did not help me pick the corn. You did not help me shell the corn. You did not help me boil the corn with lime. You did not help me grind the corn. You did not help me make la mesa. You did not help me make the tortillas. And you know what? Thank you, but I do not think I need any help to eat them." And he didn't. He ate them all himself. What is one question you had before, during, or after reading Burroughs' Tortillas? Did you answer to your question? If so, what was it? So the question I had before even reading the story was, what is a burro? I could tell by looking at the illustrations throughout the story that a burro is a donkey. The burro was also the main character in the story. Now, that's just one question. You guys might be thinking of other questions that you might have asked yourself, like where was the setting of the story? Who were all the characters in the story? What was the main problem in the story? Those are all good questions that you can ask yourself and answer when reading any text. And here's our making connection chart that we saw last week. Today we're going to just focus on text to self. Tomorrow, Mrs. J is going to read you the story and she's going to focus on text to text. So let's think about a text to self connection. Here's my text to self connection. This story reminds me of my own life because one time I needed help putting some laundry away and none of my family members wanted to help. This helped me understand this story better because I know just how Burrow felt when no one wanted to help him. Maybe thinking about a connection of putting toys away at recess time. Maybe some of your friends don't like to help doing that. And here's all the login information for RAS Plus Reading A to Z that we also used last week. You're going to use the same login information and read the story The Day It Rained Tortillas. You guys can log in to this and read this story independently on your own and then answer questions that are going to be very similar to Mrs. Brooks's. You're going to have a lot of fun doing this. I can't wait to see how well you do. Make sure when you're doing your Nearpod, you put your first and last name and don't skip any questions. Have fun, boys and girls.